this is Renee from Meadowlark Mystic, and I am doing the video that partners with my most beautiful tarot decks, my most beautiful oracle decks. So I thought that it would be fun to do both. So the first one I wanted to share with you is the Bird cards by Jane Torian and Joyce Van Dobbin. So maybe a little bit of glare, so hopefully I'll just hold them like that. This is a really gorgeous deck. I've talked about it a few times on my channel, and I just find it lovely to work with and also just to look at. I believe that the artist uses colored pencils, which is also my preferred excuse me, medium, and so I think that's also why I really love it so much. It would probably be better if I didn't have all the cards out, but this is a really loving, high vibe deck, and ever since my eldest child was small and really partial to birds, I have a deep connection to birds. I look for them and I study them, and I know what kind of birds are in my area, and yeah, I really find them super inspirational. I also like how this deck pairs bird energy, overarching energy with crystals. And I believe I saw on someone's channel, and I can't remember who it is now, but you can get this deck, either this deck or the Ascension to Paradise deck, which is by the same artist and author, from their website, because otherwise I think it's out of print. So if you are interested in this deck, then it's put the artist's name into Google and you might be able to find it that way. But definitely a deck that I think is super beautiful and I love it. Okay, that's the first one. I have a lot of decks, I guess. I have more beautiful oracles than I do tarot decks. Because for me, for tarot to read well, it doesn't necessarily have to be beautiful. The next one is the Sacred Geometry cards. I keep it in this, what is this? I just keep it in a box that I got because it comes in a really big box, and that doesn't really work for me. So this deck is, yeah, really beautiful. Also super high vibe. I'll put the name of the artist, Frances Hart, I think. And this is the first deck, and she also has another one. But I find her art also, I also think it's colored pencils. No, actually, I think it might be watercolor. I also find it really high vibe and really beautiful. So I wanted to share this one as well. The cardstock is okay, you know, it's fine. It's kind of cardboardy, but I'm not, you know, it's not sticky. It also has Sacred Geometry cards. It's not sticky, and for me, I guess that's the biggest thing. For it to not be sticky and overly laminated. Octomotion. It's pretty cool. So that's the Sacred Geometry cards. These are the lovely backs by Hart, I believe, and that's the second one. I'm probably not going to keep saying what number it is because I'm going to run out. The next two decks I wanted to share were these two by Susan Sedan Boulet, I think is how you pronounce her name. So these are just so beautiful. I've had these for, gosh, over 20 years. These are one of the first decks I ever bought were these. I find her art just so beautiful, so moody, so very layered. And so these are the Goddess Knowledge cards. So on the back, you know, there's the name of the goddess and then a little bit about the goddess. Just really beautiful, deep artwork. Actually, then I also have an animal one. This is Mary. Spider Woman. Persephone. I wonder if I can plug my phone in because it's telling me that it's going to die, which is not at all good. Okay, let's see if that still works. Got them all mixed up now. Just going through this is reminding me of when I was so young and so full of dreams of what the future would be like. This one's Sedna. It's a pretty brutal story. Also really cool. Okay, that is the Goddess Knowledge cards. And then I won't show as many for the Animal Spirit Knowledge cards, just because it's kind of the same, you know, it's the same artist, the same general idea. And there's other decks that I want to show. So it's pre-existing art, I think. I mean, some of the cards I think were actually, you know, for that goddess or for a certain animal, but I think some of it was just pre-existing art. The cardstock is a little glossy. It's good cardstock, but it is a tiny bit sticky, and I've had these cards for a really long time, so I don't think they're ever going to be not sticky. This one's really cool. Okay, so definitely one of my most beautiful decks, the Animal Spirit Knowledge cards. Okay, the next one is the Tao Oracle. And this is Mandala Padme. She's the artist who did the Osho Zen. This is a really fun deck. You, the way you pull cards is based on the throw of the I Ching. I use coins. So this deck stays in order. I'll just keep it in order. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the Osho Zen. But it's got really great cardstock. And the art is just so beautiful. Really beautiful. Really captures the energy of the I Ching and, you know, the different types of experiences you could have in life. I think her art is just so beautiful. And you know, difficult feelings like splitting apart, and yet, and you know, it's sad. The picture is kind of sad, but it's also so beautiful. I really love this artwork, and find it beautiful to work with. It's interesting, clinging. Some of it's very kind of landscapey, or like a tutorial on how to do watercolor, but some of it's really deep, like this one, and then very like feels very traditional, like this one, but then back to like landscapes, and then very simplified. This one brush. Okay, that's the Dow Oracle, one of my most beautiful oracle decks. I'm going to have such a mess when I'm done, but I don't want to put it all away right now. Okay, the next one that I wanted to share is beautiful is the Devas of Creation. This is by Conway. She is the creator of the Shimmering Veil, and I believe the Intuitive Tarot. So these are like working with the energies of the universe. And super beautiful. They don't have titles, they just have numbers for the Deva or the energy. And I think Scylla's artwork in this deck is really compelling and subtle. You can just barely see the figures, and I really like that. I prefer that to the full-on figures that she has in the Shimmering Veil. The Shimmering Veil is really beautiful. You can see that face there. Shimmering Veil is really beautiful, don't get me wrong. But I find that those figures just don't resonate with me. I guess they're maybe a little too anthropomorphic, and I like them a little more loose. But I have heard from several readers that the Shimmering Veil is a great deck to read with. I think Manuela from Place of Stillness really likes it. But this is one of my most beautiful decks, and also one of my most powerful decks. I love her use of movement and color. Devas of Creation by Scylla Conway. The next deck that I'm going to feature is the Celtic Shaman pack. And these are the backs. And this deck is illustrated by Jessica Potter. And I showed this when I was doing my video on all my John Matthews decks. But I love Cheska's artwork. She did the original Greenwood Tarot. And I just think it's so beautiful, so I wanted to share it again. It has like it's got like a deep quality to it, but also it's kind of stripped down too. I don't know, it's hard to, oh, I keep getting eagle. It's hard to I don't really know proper art terminology, but I don't know, is primal a thing? Do you say that? Or is that really super offensive? I don't know. Anyway, I find her art very powerful and I really love it. And I consider this one of my most beautiful decks, Oracle decks. Wow, that was really loud. This reminds me a little bit of Mother Mary. Cool. Yeah, there's just something about this deck that for me, it's like really zingy. It's like, woo, while I'm looking at it. I'm like having a moment with this deck. Okay. So that is the Celtic Shamans pack. And then the next one I've also talked about. I think I did it with the combos. Anyway, this deck is so beautiful, but it's so glossy that I'm going to have to hold all the cards. I won't show too many because I actually just showed this deck on my channel, but so gorgeous, so absolutely stunning art. And I got it really just for the art, you know, I just wanted to have this art in my collection. But I find it such a good weird reader. Weird in that I didn't think it was going to read so well because it's pre-existing art, and it does, it just reads so well for me. And this is the Wild Kwan Yin Pocket Edition. I have thought about maybe getting the larger one, but you know, then I'd have to get rid of this one, and I don't really want to do that. Okay, the next one is the Mandala Oracle by Heita Copony. And this one I saw on Lisa, Caradwin's Cauldron, her channel. I think this is a Dutch deck. And there's the little book. But, yeah, I just really love this deck too. It's so, like, whoa. You can really trip out on the images. And there's quotes on the back. This deck goes really well with the Shadowscapes. These are pretty small cards, and they're square. Like this is the Arthurian Tarot. And, you know, so they're kind of square and wider. dig this. It reminds me of Medusa. And the Gorgon and Athena and all that. Oops, I have this one upside down, sorry. Yeah, so this is a very kind of soothing, contemplative deck, I'd say. It reminds me a little bit of the, what's the name of that deck everybody likes? Shoot. It just flew out of my head. I can't remember. Anyway. Okay, and the last deck for my most beautiful decks is the Forces, Flora, and Fauna Oracle by Harding. Harding, I believe. And I just really like this deck a lot. I like the art. I like the... I just find it really gorgeous. I don't hear people talk about it much. Can't really see that, but it's because the light's a little weird. I find this deck really inspirational. Not only does it give great readings, but it also like encourages me to like do more art. And I finished, I did finish my redraw of the Shining Tribe, and I renamed my deck the Shining Glyph, and I ordered it off of Printer Studio. So I'm really excited to get it in my hands. But we're talking about this deck. This is a really beautiful deck. Like I said, it kind of encourages me to be more artistic in the way it speaks to me visually as well as the messages it gives me. I guess I like how it combines realism with kind of fantastic. So I guess maybe it's a little surreal, I'm not really sure, but I really like how it combines different aspects of art. So there's like the rainbow colors in the back, and then there's like the kind of pen and ink drawing in the forward part of the card. There's like the really realistic bears, but then they're on this cliff, and there's what appears to be kind of the aurora borealis above them, and then it's like crystals underneath. So I really like that a lot. She also has a tarot deck, if you're interested. And the last one will be the acorn. Okay, that's going to do it for me, and those were what I consider currently my most beautiful oracle decks. I hope you enjoyed that, and why don't you tell me what your most beautiful oracle decks are in the comments below if you like. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.